A new book details President Trump's relationship with his former national security advisor, John Bolton. Bolton is at the center of Democrats' fight for witnesses in the Senate impeachment trial. Philip Rucker and Carol Leonnig of The Washington Post write about Bolton and more in their new book, A Very Stable Genius. Earlier, my colleague Vladimir Duthiers sat down with Leonnig. They discussed Bolton's former role in the White House.
In the book, you do write about John Bolton, and I'm going to quote from the book here. You and Phil write this: Bolton saw his job as being Trump's whisperer, carving out one-on-one time with the president to shape his policy views personally, as opposed to serving as an impartial broker who synthesized ideas and information from a vast array of federal departments and agencies. Bolton's doctrinaire views alarmed some Western allies, but Trump liked having him around. In bilateral meetings with foreign leaders, Trump developed the habit of teasing Bolton for his war-mongering instincts. The president would often say a variation of this: "I've got hawks, I've got doves. Bolton will just bomb you. He'll turn your country into a parking lot." It sounds like the president liked John Bolton. But now the president, in recent remarks, has said, look, John Bolton should not testify because of the relationship that we had. So where is the truth there? What kind of a relationship did he have with Bolton?
Well, you know, we did a lot of reporting about Bolton for this book, and you hit on one of the critical passages about him. The president liked John Bolton because he was even tougher, more conservative, and more of a bellicose, let's go to war now, javelin thrower than the president. And the president liked a little bit of the appearance, at least, of being moderate. He's a tough guy, but he's not that tough. So that was just part and parcel of that dance, but in their relationship. There was something else going on with Bolton, though. Bolton was an anal retentive note keeper, an incredibly methodical chess player, like several years out chess player. Donald Trump wasn't that. Donald Trump defines himself as a game day player, not anal retentive, willing to go on a whim and an impulse. So the two of them actually started to cross swords more and more as time went on. And Ukraine was at the center of some of their disputes. And eventually it ended with his resignation, which was really him being forced out while resigning.
The fact that the president likes people who play well on television, in a way, I thought this morning this could come back and bite him, because perhaps he wasn't aware of the fact that Ambassador Bolton was a meticulous note taker and wrote down every single thing that he encountered or witnessed throughout the course of the day. And so you look good and sound on television. You've got a great name like Mad Dog, which actually doesn't mean what you think it means. And then you turn around to find out that perhaps he's not in your corner to begin with.
In a way, you know, so many of the characters that we met in reporting out A Very Stable Genius, so many of those characters essentially got mowed down, driven out, or forced out slightly in humiliation out of this West Wing. John Bolton may be one of the few who actually played the president. You know, I don't think it was his intention to do anything but guide this novice president when he started. But the two of them disagreed pretty heartily about Ukraine. And now who is the person who really has the president's voice in this matter? While the president's on trial for possible high crimes and misdemeanors, who's the person who heard what the president said in the room where it happened? John Bolton, the guy who took notes, the guy who plays years off in the distance chess.
And part of the argument that the Republicans have been making is, look, there was no one there to witness what has been described by Ambassador Sondland, for example, or others, and now you've got Bolton. But I wonder, in listening to some Republicans today, they say he's trying to sell a book. He's probably disgruntled because of the way he left the White House. And one of the themes that I found sort of intriguing in your book is that there are a lot of respected people who go to work for this president, who go to work for this administration, and there are a variety of reasons that we can talk about that you lay out in your book, but ultimately, many of them get burned. You've built a respectful career. Whether you agree with John Bolton or not, he's respected, he has been respected, and now there are some Republican senators who may even like the way that he thinks, Bolton, that are coming out and saying, you know what, this may be a shameless plug for a book, I'm gonna stick with the president. In other words, you're still getting burned by this president by latching on to his presidency.
Well, for just survival, I mean, I think all of us in Washington and even in New York who are following this case and around the country, some of these Republicans are playing quickie checkers, right? Because they are literally trying to figure out who can do me the most damage. the president can do you the most damage right now as you seek re-election in the next several months. The president can do you the most damage in withholding aid, no pun intended, withholding goodies and treats and billions of dollars for your district. So you can sort of see why people at least are telegraphing, I'm against Bolton right now. I don't know if that's going to be their play in the long game. We'll see. We'll see. But that theme in the book is just so true, that many people left this administration with their tail between their legs in a way, because they tried with the goal of serving a novice president and guiding one who knew nothing about governing. And some of them went to build a resume, some of them went as well to sort of feel like they were getting their agenda fulfilled, a conservative agenda, their philosophy. They left driven out of the room by a fairly abusive boss whose practices probably would be a hostile work environment claim if it wasn't the White House.
Carol Leonnig, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you for this interview.
Congratulations to you and Phil.
Oh, thank you.